Chapter 10 ADHD. The discussion continued. I've come across multiple mentions in these papers that Eric has ADHD, which stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. I'm not a fan of this term. These individuals don't necessarily have less attention. It's just that they shift the focus of their attention to different interests. In a classroom, they might not pay attention to the teacher, attempting to be the center of attention themselves. This can disrupt learning. However, when it comes to subjects like cars or soccer, their attention can be heightened, not reduced. He said, "You might have heard of the chess master Bobby Fischer. He was a well-known character during the Cold War. If this ADHD matter was known back then, they'd probably say he had it. He got kicked out of 6 schools before he even hit 10 because he failed to concentrate during classes. Kids with hyperactivity disorder change schools a lot, you know? Instead of doing homework, Bobby Fischer was engrossed in chess. You see similar attention stuff with soccer strikers, boxers, funny comedians, and important people in politics." He continued, "Robin Williams, the actor, they say he had ADHD too. Picture his teacher getting frustrated because he couldn't pay attention. But as a talented stand-up comedian, he could capture the attention of people for hours, with tons of material he had memorized." Azer had a feeling talking to a brain expert might be tricky. He said, "When Eric started taking ADHD pills, it helped." The professor gave a tight smile and said, "Oh, those pills did work for him. Anyone can feel good with them. You can buy them easily like party pills. In college, so many students use them to enhance their memory. But sometimes the circumstances can get so complicated that even the pills can't do magic. That's what's happening to Eric." Azer took a bite of cake and sipped coffee. "Jose thinks people around Eric become involved and turn into part of the problem. You think he's right?" The professor nodded, saying, "Absolutely. Usually, a disease causes suffering for the patient. However, hyperactivity disorder is different. It often results in those around the affected individual suffering, while the person with that disorder may find enjoyment in their actions. In a school setting, they may assume the role of the class clown, disrupting both their fellow students and the teacher. They may pester and gang up on students who perform better academically, seeking to elevate their own social status. They might even form a clique with students who have lower grades than themselves. This behavior can lead to misunderstandings between teachers and parents, causing stress for everyone involved. In the end, teachers may experience burnout due to stress, and parents may succumb to depression. Unfortunately, this pattern often persists into adulthood, affecting marriages and children, creating a vicious cycle." He added, "When the children with their parents come to this office, the child often sits in the middle, the mother and father on opposite sides, far apart. The parents usually take opposite positions, the father in favor of medical intervention, and the mother totally against it. In that situation, I always ask myself, are you part of the problem or part of the solution?" Azer asked, "Is there any solution for Eric's condition?" The professor replied, "Brain replacement." Before Azer could ask if he was serious, he added, "ADHD and dementia are the most devastating threats to the humanity in the 21st century, and the sole radical solution for both conditions is a brain transplant." He explained, "People often talk about how atomic bombs, viruses, and meteor strikes could wipe out the entire humanity. But an even scarier threat is lurking around the corner. In the same manner the Soviet Union, the Roman Empire, the Maya, and so many other empires crumbled under their weight, two cognitive conditions, dementia and hyperactivity, can bring humanity down to its knees. Dementia makes people forget what they have already learned, and hyperactivity impedes learning and passing on advanced knowledge." Azer said, "How do we deal with Eric in the meantime?" The professor replied, "Eric's condition is rooted in his personality. You see, our personalities come from a mix of genes and upbringing. Dealing with Eric's situation is like fighting a tough battle one step at a time. I believe you and other people around Eric can give him the time he needs to recover his speech. But remember, you should also take care of yourselves. Otherwise, you might go down with severe depression. After a long pause, Topaz felt like their talk was over. She turned to Azer and asked, "Can you fill me in?" Azer replied, "The professor says that Eric needs more time." The professor smiled and said, "It was a quick summary but captures the main idea." Speaking from her own experience, Topaz said in rage, "There's always a light at the end of the dark tunnel, which could be an exit or a high-speed train coming against you." My psychologist reminded me repeatedly of the first part but forgot to mention the last part.